Hello everyone and good afternoon. Okay, before I start anything, I want to just ask you a very simple question and I want you to be honest. What comes to your mind, the very first thing which comes to your mind when I just say the simple word apple? And I truly want to hear your answers. Let's start from you. Apple. The fruit.
Company.
The company.
Brand.
Brand.
Yeah, for me it's the product also.
Product.
iPad.
iPad.
Fruit.
Fruit.
Usability.
Usability. Alright, I mean like it's very funny. It's very, very funny. Without me saying a single word about the company, about the brand, about the product, at least like more than half of us said something about this company. I mean like what is it? What is it? Have you been brainwashed? Or what is this trend that's going on that makes us think in a different way? Alright, I'm Mustafa Asim, studying at Oxford University and hope to be an electrician. So, as I think now basically we know what I'm going to talk about, Apple, I'm going to talk about it, and before starting I want to give you an overview. Basically we're going to go briefly through the history, then I'll take you into the world of their product, what are they offering to us, and then the last change, which last time I had about the culture, but this time what I thought, which is more important about the culture, is about their slogans and the logos that they are using. What's behind them, what are they talking about inside them. So, let's just start with the history. But you know, history, as we all know in the school, has been boring. Who wants to sit in a history lesson? So, I don't want it to be boring, so I've divided into 4 different sections. Smaller sections, so make it more school-like and more amusing and interesting. So, everything has a beginning, yeah? So, Apple started at 1st of April 1976, and 3 people, Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, and Ronald Wayne, started the company, and they decided to sell Apple I. And it was just a personal computer kit. The very personal Apple was this one. And it was just an assembled circuit board without any of the basic features, which is like keyboard, case, monitor, and the owner had like kind of money and at that time put a case for it and all these things. But when Apple went public, it made more millionaires than any company before its history. So the history went on, the Apple is established. So they are trying to bring the product out. Steve Jobs was involved in a team group called Apple Lisa. So it started at 1978, but in 1982, the group just kicked out the Steve Jobs. And Steve Jobs was left with nothing. So he took a very low-cost project called Macintosh. So the third war just broke out. Which product should go in and and represent Apple? For first time, Steve Jobs lost it, and Lisa went on. But because of the high, really high price tag, they just fall flat on the face. And it was time for the Steve Jobs to shine. So he brought the very first Macintosh. But you know, history has shown us all that it's not always rising and it's not always victory. There is always a fall. And it just happened. It just happened with Apple as well. Apple tried to bring the concept known to us as laptop, but the first that they brought in was very bulky, heavy, and very difficult to transfer. So they decided, let's make a new device. And they called it PowerBook. And why it was PowerBook? It was weighing less, but it had a more lifetime in its battery. But you know, there is always the competitors. And at this time, Windows, the Microsoft. Microsoft was not just sitting out on the fence and looking what's going on. So they gained the Windows and they just took over the market. Why? Because they had the better price. They were just doing much better. They are like offering more service, easier to use, easier to carry around, for much, much cheaper price. So it was the time for Apple to just fall flat with its face. But, we all know Steve Jobs always got something in his sleeves. So they know how to come back. And of course, they came back. On August 15th, 1998, Apple introduced a new all-in-one computer called Macintosh 128K, which these days we know it the iMac. The iMac design was very, very, very interesting. It was user-friendly, and the people behind the design of it are already behind the design of iPad, iPhone, and some other products. The iMac featured modern technology and a unique design, and it sold close to 800,000 just in the very first 5 months of its release. So, very, very nice return to profitability. So, history gone. Let's have a look at what products are they offering to us. The very first one, which we already talked about, Mac and its accessories. The very simple computer. It can be a tabletop, and then they have like the MacBook, which is like laptop. So then there came the new product. The new product. I mean, like, everybody were into the music. At 2001, October 23rd, they introduced iPod to the world. And the funny thing is that they started with a big product, and what they did, they made it smaller, and they made it something like this. And not only they didn't cut on the memory, they even made bigger memories in the smaller product. Very, very amazing. But producing is going on. They brought in Apple TV. Apple TV. I mean, like, at the moment, it's not very available in Finland. Only Elisa is offering some stuff. And what it's doing is just giving you like watching the TV, but then you have a sneak peek into the Apple world. You get to listen to the master himself, Steve Jobs, and you have like you get some movies per month, and you can watch them. But then, the product that people said Apple should never touch came out, iPhone. It was at the Mac World Conference at Expo in January 2007 when Apple declared that they are touching the communication world, and they're going to produce a new phone called iPhone. Everybody said they don't have the technology, they don't know how to do it. They're gonna just gonna come in and gonna go out. But what they did, they just altered the definition of having a phone. A phone is not just for calling. A phone is not just for receiving a text message. A phone is something which you can get connected to the internet. You can see where you're standing using this application. You can find yourself on a map. You can browse on the net anywhere, anytime. You can watch a movie. You can watch a movie. You can watch a video on YouTube. And at the moment, they are setting the pace. And I can promise you, they will set the pace for a very long time. Then there came the latest release, iPad. iPad. Some people call it the giant iPhone. It's still a work in progress, which I believe it is truly a work in progress. But what they did with the iPad, they said, no more wires. No more worrying, it's heavy. Actually, why I like this picture, when I brought this picture, you can have a magazine without any papers. Actually, this is the iPad, which has a magazine cover. You can read a magazine on it. You have access to the iBook. You can go on the internet and surf. You can watch video. But still, I believe this is a work in progress, and this is the next big hit. Yes. Now, we know about the history. We know about the products that they're offering. I want you to take you to the world of Apple. Everything starts with a logo. Imagine no one is telling you Apple. They show you this or this, or actually not these things yet. They just show you these things. And you know what they're talking about. So you really don't need to hear, you just see. So logo does a very, very good job. I'm very sorry. So let's start with the logo. The first logo which came out from the Apple was Isaac Newton sitting under the apple tree. And actually the only apple was there. But they thought, okay, Apple, Isaac Newton, why we don't call it just Isaac Newton? They said, let's change the apple to this one, a rainbow apple, which showed diversity, which showed you can do whatever you want. I mean, like, the logo was just talking for himself. And then they brought in this logo, the black and white logo. Logos are very important because, as we say, a picture talks more than 100 words, 1,000 words. But what are the slogans? Let's have a look at this slogan. Bite into an apple. Very beautiful said. I mean, like, they are not saying like bite. They are saying bite as like the bite that we are using as a memory storage. They used this one when they first introduced Apple. And they said it bite into an apple because they wanted people to come and try it. I mean, like, this time biting into an apple meant that let's try Apple. Then they brought the new slogan, think different. Actually, there were really big debate about think different is very wrong. You never say a verb and adjective. What the hell? Think different? You should say think differently. But what they were trying to do was to think, even though when they know that they are saying it wrong. They are saying think different. They are not saying think differently. They are making you think differently. So they really made their point by just saying something wrong and staying on their mind. Then, before releasing the iMac, they brought in I think, therefore I Mac. I mean, like, they use the very normal concept of I think, therefore I exist. But they just changed it to I think, therefore I Mac. You know, they really caught the attention of all the users. They were not just something normal. They were bringing something different to the market. Or they just used the very simple word hello. There was nothing, you were waiting, okay, an Apple coming out and something saying hello. And for a while, anyone who said like hello, they were thinking, okay, are you going to say something about the Apple? The simple word of hello is just a greeting word, but they just captured it. And there is no law against it. I want to say hello and show my logo. And when they wanted to bring the new iPhone, they said, say hello to iPhone. So they had the hello, and they want to now greet the new iPhone. Amazing how these people know, and they know that how to target the people. They just use the simple words which we are using and just capturing our attention. But you know, this is such a big company, we can talk about it all the time, but there is all the time this time restriction. So I'll just cut it short, and let's recap what we talked about. We talked about a company with 3 small people. They were like students like us. Came together, tried to make a company. But they had a big dream. And they tried to capture a big dream. And I think they did it. So nothing is impossible. Then we went to the products. They touched us almost from every aspect. They can offer you TV, and they can offer you MP3. When you have free time, you can just listen and chill out. At the end, how I want to end my show is that an apple per day keeps the doctor away. You can decide which apple. Thank you. For more information, you can log on apple.org. And the floor is open for any question. Thank you very much.
Okay, Mustafa, thank you.